Once upon a time, there was a mighty lion who ruled over the jungle. He was feared and respected by all the animals, but he was also proud and cruel. He often hunted for sport and killed more than he needed to eat. He enjoyed making the other animals tremble as roar and beg for his mercy. One day, he was resting under a shady tree after a big meal. He was feeling sleepy and bored, so he decided to have some fun. He spotted a small mouse running across the grass and quickly pounced on it. He held the mouse in his paw and grinned wickedly. "Please, please spare me, Mr. Lion," the mouse squeaked in terror. "I have a family to feed, and I mean you no harm. Please let me go, and I will be forever grateful to you." The lion laughed mockingly. "Grateful? What can a tiny mouse like you do for a mighty lion like me? You are nothing but a snack for me." The mouse trembled and pleaded with the lion. "Please, Mr. Lion, have mercy on me. You are so powerful and generous. Surely you don't need to kill me. Maybe someday I can repay your kindness in some way. You never know when you might need a friend." The lion was amused by the mouse's words. He thought it was ridiculous that a mouse could ever help a lion. He decided to spare the mouse's life, not out of kindness, but out of curiosity. He wanted to see if the mouse would ever keep his promise. "Very well, little mouse," he said. "I will let you go this time. But don't forget your promise. Someday I might need your help, and then you will have to prove your gratitude." Thank you, Mr. Lion," the mouse exclaimed. "I will never forget your kindness, and I will always be ready to help you if you ever need me." The lion released the mouse and watched him scamper away. He chuckled to himself and thought, "What a foolish mouse. He thinks he can help me. He will never see me again." He closed his eyes and fell asleep under the tree. A few days later, the lion was roaming the jungle, looking for his next prey. He saw a herd of zebras grazing near a pond and decided to attack them. He crept closer and closer and closer until he was ready to pounce. But just as he was about to leap, he felt a sharp pain in his paw. He looked down and saw that he had stepped on a hunter's trap. A metal snare had caught his paw and was digging into his flesh. He roared in agony and tried to free himself. But the more he struggled, the tighter the snare became. He realized that he was in grave danger. The hunter who set the trap would soon come and kill him. He felt a surge of fear and anger. He cursed his bad luck and wished he had never left his den that day. He roared again and again, hoping that some of his fellow lions would hear him and come to his rescue. But none of them came. They were either too far away or too afraid of the hunter. The lion felt alone and helpless. He wondered if this was the end of his life. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice. It was the mouse he had spared a few days ago. The mouse had heard the lion's roars and had come to see what was wrong. He saw the lion trapped in the snare and felt sorry for him. Mr. Lion, are you okay?" the mouse asked. The lion was surprised to see the mouse. He felt ashamed and embarrassed that he had to rely on such a weak creature for help. "Go away, little mouse," he said. "You can't do anything for me. I'm doomed." "Don't say that, Mr. Lion," the mouse said. "You were kind to me once, and now I want to repay your kindness. Maybe I can help you somehow." The lion scoffed at the mouse's offer. He thought it was useless and hopeless. "How can you help me, little mouse?" he said. "You are too small and weak to do anything. You can't break this snare or fight off the hunter. You can only watch me die." The mouse shook his head and said, "Don't underestimate me, Mr. Lion. I may be small and weak, but I have sharp teeth and a clever mind. Maybe I can't break this snare, but I can chew through it. It will take some time, but I can do it. Trust me, Mr. Lion. Let me try." The lion was doubtful, but he had no other choice. He decided to let the mouse try. "Very well, little mouse," he said. "Do what you can, but hurry up before the hunter comes." The mouse nodded and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Lion. I will do my best." He ran to the snare and began to gnaw at the metal wire with his teeth. He bit and bit until he made a small dent in the wire. He continued to bite and bite until he made a bigger dent in the wire. He kept biting and biting until he cut through wire and freed the lion's paw. The lion felt a great relief as the snare fell off his paw. He looked at the mouse in awe and gratitude. "Little mouse, you did it," he exclaimed. "You saved my life! You are amazing!" The mouse smiled and said, "I'm glad I could help, Mr. Lion. You see, I kept my promise. I repaid your kindness." The lion felt a surge of emotion. He realized that he had misjudged the mouse and that he had learned a valuable lesson. "Little mouse, you are right," he said. "You kept your promise and you repaid my kindness. You also taught me something important. You taught me that size and strength are not everything. You taught me that kindness and courage are more valuable than pride and cruelty. You taught me that anyone can be a friend, no matter how different. They are. He bowed his head and said, "Little mouse, I'm sorry for how I treated you before. I was wrong to look down on you and laugh at you. You are a true friend and a noble creature. Please forgive me for my arrogance and rudeness." The mouse was touched by the lion's words. He forgave him and said, "Mr. Lion, I'm happy to hear you say that. I'm happy that we are friends now. And don't worry about how you treated me before. It's all in the past now." They hugged each other and smiled. Just then, they heard a gunshot in the distance. It was the hunter who had set the trap. He had heard the lion's roars and had come to kill him. He saw the lion and the mouse and was shocked and angry. He aimed his rifle at them and pulled the trigger. But he was too late. The lion and the mouse had already run away to safety. They escaped the hunter's bullet and ran to the jungle. They were free and happy. They lived together in peace and harmony, as friends and allies. They helped each other in times of need and shared their joys and sorrows. They respected and cared for each other despite their differences. They were the best friends, and they never forgot the lesson they had learned, that kindness is the greatest virtue and that anyone can be a friend.